Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining. This is our DOG webinar GP2BC database environments powered by Dynamics User Group and hosted by Microsoft Dynamics World. Hi, my name is Cecile Dean. I have 25 years of experience in Dynamics GP and 2 years in Business Central. I got 4 times nominee in GPAG All-Star and DOG leader in Arizona. I'm also DOG Advisory Committee, certified in SQL, Bachelor in Accounting, and this is my LinkedIn account, Dean Cecile. Okay. So our agenda for today, we have understanding about database and environments in GP and Business Central, how to create companies, overview of users and security, and understanding the admin center in GP and BC. All right, so let's go to Dynamics GP SQL Server Database. All right, so in Dynamics GP, we have this sample company called Fabricam. And once you install Fabricam, our sample company, in SQL Server, you will see this database called Dynamics and TWO. So Dynamics in GP is the system database. That's where, the user accounts, and some securities. And then the company database is, I would say this is the better way to remember. If it is global setup, it is under system database. That affects everything from the system and everything in the company database. So if this is specific to company, then it is in the company database. All right. So how is Dynamics GP application connected to SQL Server? The answer is through ODBC. So let me show you how it is connected. So if you see here, we have server Dynamics GP, and that is under ODBC 32-bit. Okay, under system DSN Dynamics GP, you configure that, and you will see the server. This is my sandbox in GP, NPSB GP. Okay, so that will be my server for today. All right. So if you notice that the NPSB is in the lower part here, and then on the upper part is the UAT. So what I'm trying to show here is you have two SQL instance. And in each SQL instance, you have this company database and Dynamics database. So in Business Central, SQL instance is your environment in VC. And then I have a note here, SQL instance and company ID are not allowed to rename, but you can in Business Central. Okay, so this is my SQL server. All right, so I will go show you how to connect to my other instance. This is my UAT. And now I'm connected to SQL instance. All right. Again, in Dynamics GP, you have SQL instance that has all your company database. So how to create a new company database in Dynamics GP? Okay, so under GP utilities, we log in and hit next, and then create a company, then process. So this is your company ID. Let's have Doug W. This is Doug Webinar. As you can see in my company ID, it's only 5 characters maximum. And I have an option to include the shipping and then the location. Of course, you have to put the directory where you want your SQL database to be at. So this is my data. So I paste it there. And then my log, SQL log. So usually it's as 2 separate folders. Okay, so hit next and then finish. So now it will create your company database. Okay. I remember when I was in consulting, I created 240 company database in 12 hours. Yeah, usually it will take probably around 7 minutes each company database. Yeah, it loads the table structure and everything. It's like you are creating a shell company. So this one is empty. There's nothing in there, but it is ready for you to load your master files, their beginning balance, um, as if this is like a production company. Okay, so usually once you create the company, yeah, it will ask you to, yeah, SQL server you can set up later. Yep, next, and then launch Dynamics GP. Mhm. Launch. Okay, so now I will log in. Okay. So right now, I am logging in Fabricam or the sample company because we need to give access to the new company that we created. Okay, so this is where the data is at. You see, there's a dog W and then the log, excuse me, and then Dynamics GP. You will see um, under admin. I'm in Fabricam or the sample company, and then I have to give access to the Doug webinar company. Okay, so you have user access, Cecile. Okay, Doug webinar, and then user access, user security. So we select the username, and then the company, and then display selected roles. There's nothing assigned yet. So these are the security roles ID in Dynamics GP. Roles, and then these are defaults. Then power user, making, you have access to everything if you have power user role. All right, so now we have security. Then alternate modified forms and reports. This is where you host all your windows, modified reports, and you give security to those modifications. So, all right. So I think that's it. And then if you want to delete the company, you have to go here, select and delete the company. You don't want to delete the company straight to SQL Server. Yeah. Okay, so now I want to log into the webinar, but it's not available yet. Mm, okay, what are we missing? All right, so company. All right, let's go back to user access. I highlighted Cecile, but I did not highlight SA. And then user security. Usually, in the past, it's automatic, but now you have to give access. And then you select again the company, power user, and then default user, and then hit save. Now I can log into company.webinar. All right, so this is our brand new company. It's just a shell, nothing in here. Under financial chart of accounts, you will see it's empty. Okay, nothing in there. And then under purchasing, see, and there's no vendors yet. Yeah, so under sales and then customers, right, nothing. So basically, it's just empty shell. So it's ready to configure. Okay, so let me switch back to Fabricam. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So that's how you create the company database and give access to user in Dynamics GP. Okay. So let's move on to how to back up and restore database in Dynamics GP. Okay. So in SQL Server, you right click on the Dynamics or the webinar or the company database that you want, and then add where it's a directory where you want to save it. And then usually your file name is the the company database and then BAC. And it's much better if you will add, the date. So you know when you created the backup, or it's much easier to remember. And then hit OK. Again, this is your backup on the server. All right, successfully completed. And then if you go to the folder, then you will see your backup file right there. All right, and then task restore this time. And then this is where you will restore the database. You select the file, the location, and then you have an option, override the existing database. Okay, so I know it's like our routine, especially whenever we do upgrades, we have to make sure that there's backup. That's why every time you will hear backup, backup, backup. All right, so next is okay, so to recap, we have Dynamics. We saw the Dynamics database is a system database, and then TWO is your sample company, and database storage is in SQL Server, and then backup can be done automatically by job schedule or manually or on demand. And then you restore database, on demand, and make sure it's always available. And then we also look at the company access, and then we select the user. Remember, I select my name and then mark the user checkbox in the company database. And then in the user security, we select the power user. A power user is a super user in Business Central. And then again, the SQL instance is your environment in Business Central. Okay, so now let's move on to Business Central. Okay, so I just want to highlight some information about Business Central. Um, Again, your environments are your SQL instance. That means in this example, I have production, I have sandbox. That means there are companies inside that environments. Okay, so each environment can hold multiple company database, just like our SQL instance in Dynamics GP. Okay, so in the environments, you will see a manage sessions. This is your, in Dynamics GP, it's called activity table under Dynamics database. So if you look at select asterisk from activity, you will see all the users that is logged in Dynamics GP. But in Business Central, you have your manage sessions. Okay. All right. And then I also want to highlight that your database storage is now in the cloud in Business Central. So you will see here on the left is the capacity, and then you have your usage of all your database. So you will see the total here, and then you will see the database. Once you buy this Business Central license, automatically you will get 80 gigabytes size, and then it's included in your purchase. And then if you want to include additional capacity, you will see it here. And then the total storage capacity, uh, it will be displayed here. That's your total capacity for both production and sandbox. Okay, so this is your storage capacity, and on that right side is your available. Again, in this environment, we have one production only and 3 sandbox allowed. All right. So if you are using already 3 sandboxes and you want to create more, you might want to think again, are you going to delete other sandbox that you don't use so that you can create a new one? Okay, so the question is, can I buy additional storage? The answer is yes, you can. In this information is as of today. I'm not sure now how much is the price, but this is what I got a few months ago. And the premium license per user per month is 100. For premium license essentials is $70. And then if you have additional environment, like earlier we mentioned, we want to have more. Let's say you want to have more production environment, then it will be $300 per month. And then database capacity, 1 gigabyte is $10 per month. And then if it is 100 gigabytes, you have $500 per month. And then, yeah, so we really have to think what are the capacity or the database additional environment we want in before we implement Business Central. Again, we have actually three types of license in Business Central. First is essentials, and then next is a premium, where you really need to think. Actually, it is easy to understand. If it is with manufacturing, it is premium. Okay. um, this is the service order management and manufacturing. If you don't need that, then you need essentials license only. Okay. And then if you have view users only, then it is $8 per month. Okay. All right. So Back to Dynamics GP, you will see your license allowed. When you log into Dynamics GP, it will show you users allowed. In my example here is users allowed 28 users. So in Dynamics GP, it is concurrent users. You can create 60 users and only 28 users are allowed to log in at the same time. So in Business Central, it is based on login account users. Okay, so each name is counted as your license in Business Central. Okay, so here are some tips. So how many user license you need in Business Central if you're coming from Dynamics GP? First is you make a list. Second, you identify who has full access and view access only. And then you ask the users how often they use Dynamics GP, because there are users, they only use it once a month, and sometimes it's not very often. So you have to ask the team, is it okay to have one license? Is one license enough per team, so that that person will do the inquiry, for you? Because in my case, they only use it probably once a month, just to inquire a customer if they have changes in bank info, or is it paid already. So they just want to inquire. Okay, so that's your tip. Okay. All right, so let me switch over to Business Central so I can show you real quick. All right. Okay, so I'm now in Business Central. Okay, let me just move this over. Okay, so all right, so this is my Kronos USA. So this is my sample company. And if I go to the right, we have this admin center. And in my admin center, we have these environments. And then again, this is your um, production and 3 sandboxes. Okay, so if you click on new, this is how you will create your production or sandbox environment. Okay, still thinking. Okay, so and then it will ask you to create your environment. So what's the name? Then you can name it or whatever you like. And then it will ask you, is it production or sandbox? And then if it is sandbox, then you cannot create more than 3 sandbox environments. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's the thing. You have to review what are those sandbox that you no longer need, so that you can create a new one. Okay, and then you can also, for example, this one is my sandbox, CD sandbox. And then in here, you will see the environment details and version management. Okay, so in here, you will see sessions. Okay, so this is like the activity table in Dynamics GP. So if you have multiple users, you can see all of them here. And just like GP, you can cancel their sessions, right? Okay, let me go back to my environments and then see the sandbox. And then we have here database. I asked around, and they have common answer. They don't use this. They don't use this database, create database, export database history. I don't know. They don't use this. So maybe there's another purpose for this, but because I'm not sure where do you use this database export? Maybe for developers. Okay. Okay, let me move on to copy. So right now I'm in CD Sandbox. If I click on copy, that means I am asking Business Central to copy my CD Sandbox. Okay, and then I will put the name in here, and then you just click copy. Okay, so right now we're not gonna do that because I already have 3 sandbox environments. Restore. Okay, restore is like in Dynamics GP, you can restore a database. But because in Business Central, environment has multiple companies in it, so you are restoring not just one company database, you are restoring the entire SQL instance if you're thinking about GP. So in one SQL instance, you have multiple companies in there. So this is what's gonna happen when you restore an environment. You are restoring a version of the entire set. Okay, so what happened to the backup? Can I select? Okay, so backups are available here, and then it's automatic. So Microsoft is doing it for you, and then select the date to restore to, and then you just have to select, and then the time, and then of course restore to this sandbox. Okay, you can, and then create the new environment name. Okay, so this is the difference in Dynamics GP. If you're thinking about company database, you are restoring a company database that's already existing. For example, you have company A and then you have company B. Um, you want to restore a backup company A to company A that's already existing. So in Business Central, you have to have a new name, new environment name, or new company name, because it will not let you restore if it is already existing. Okay. All right. So, and then of course you have rename. You can rename your new environment. Okay. What's the new name? So easy, right? But in GP, you're not allowed to rename. And then, of course, you can delete your sandbox. Yeah, hit delete. And then, of course, you can always refresh if you are working on some additional app source, or you did something you want to refresh. Just like that. Okay. All right. So that's your environment. And then earlier, I showed you the capacity of your environments. So again, this is your available, and then this is your total capacity, and then you have 1 production and 3 sandboxes. Okay, and then here you will see the storage usage by environment, and then you can see, oh, this is the usage for as of today. Okay, all right. So that's your um, admin center. We're not going to talk about the telemetry, but if you're familiar with um, SQL profiler, they're very similar to telemetry. Okay. And then, of course, notification if you have, uh, sorry, Steve. Okay. Okay, so let's go to Dynamics Business Central. Okay, so from here, you can go to companies. Okay, let's go to companies. Companies, right here. So right now, I only have one company. Um, when you want to create new company, you have this option, create new company, and then click next. And then you can say dog webinar, whatever name you like. And then you have an option in evaluation sample company if you want to create another set of sample company. And then you can also create a production company that has set up data only. Mm. And then you can create another company that has complete sample data. It's more advanced, more sample data in there. Of course, it will create more sample data, but it will also get more. When I try this, it's not that much difference on the storage size. So yeah, so and then create new company, no data. This is what we like if we are creating a new company for production, and then we will load our master files and it will become our production. So let's do this. Create new company, no data, and then hit next. And then manage users is if you are creating a new company and then you want all those users to have access to this company automatically. All right. And then click next and then finish. All right. So we'll see how long will it take. Okay, so basically we're creating this shell, nothing in there, and yeah, okay, all right. So while waiting, let me switch back to my presentation. We'll get back on here, okay? Let me go there. Okay, let me just switch over. Okay, so in creating new companies, you have up to 30 characters maximum. And then again, this is your, um, we're creating right now a new company with no data. And this is the comparison of Dynamics GP and Business Central. In GP, we call it company ID that has 5 characters maximum. And then company name has 64 characters. In Business Central, the company ID is called company name. Okay. And then the display name has 250 characters. Okay. All right. Cecile, how did you know that it's 250? I tried it. Okay, I counted. Okay, so I'm sure it's 250 characters. Okay. So really, Cecile, you try that? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So just to review, in Dynamics GP, the database must exist before you can copy and restore a backup. In Business Central, you can, before copying, company database shouldn't exist or the company name shouldn't exist. Because it will ask you the new company name. And then in GP, individual company database is being restored, not the SQL instance. Okay. But in Business Central, you are restoring the entire environment with all companies in it. Okay. All right. So let me go back to our BC. Okay, there you go. It's completed. All right. So now you have this Dog webinar. This is my new company. Okay. So if you want to edit the name, you just have to edit and then type in Dog webinar testing. Okay, like that. Okay, test. And that's it. And then, of course, if you want to copy this company, let's say you have let's say after 3 months, okay, after 3 months, you have this dog webinar with all master files, chart of accounts, vendor, customers, and all these beginning balances, and you're starting using it, and then you want to create a copy for users to do their own testing. So what you can do is copy this company to another company name. This is for you to uh, give the users chance to play around with it without messing up with the company that you already set for production. So other consultants that I talk to, they do it differently. They let they let the users play around first with this first company, and then after that they create a new company and reload the master files. So in my last implementation, we didn't do that way. We created the company with all those master files, and then once it is clean, ready for end users to do their UAT testing, we copy it over to another company name. You can call it UAT or maybe dog UAT, and then copy. So that's their playground. Okay, so Cecile, what if they have additional chart of accounts, they have additional customers, then you have to load it to the original tag webinar production. Okay, so that's the thing. All right. Maybe we can rename this as prod. Prod. Okay. There's the prod, and then you copy it over to another dog UAT. So that's where they will do their they will play around with it. Okay, Doug, and then I understand, and then click OK, and then it will create another company for you. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Okay, so now it is created. Then if I go here, you will see, oops, let me just go. Okay, now I have here, let me go give access because right now it's not available. So is this available? Okay, let me go to users. Okay, users. Okay, all right, so I have two users here, uh, Cecile and Steve. Hi, Steve. Thank you for letting me use your environment. So this is Steve and those environment. He's so nice. He gave me a sandbox. Okay, so this is where you will see here. It's set to Chronos, right? It's set to Chronos. Actually, this is where you have to create another set of another set of everything here and make it dog webinar. You will say, Cecile, can you repeat? I don't understand. I know it is completely different in setting up in Business Central because by default, if you see my name here, by default, it's blank. Okay, by default, it's blank. That means I have access to all companies. If you put the company specifically, that means you only have access to this company. So if you have 10 company database and then you only have access to one, you don't see the 9 company database. What if I need 2 or 3? Then you will create additional sets here, exactly the same thing, and then you make it assigned to the new company. Like, for example, this one, only Chronos. So I will create additional set for dog. Okay. I know you have to repeat. Okay. All right. So Yep, so that's the permission sets. Permission sets, let's, for example, permission sets. Okay, let me just close this one. Okay, so this is your, let me just go, let me go back. All right. Let me just show you. What I want to show you is my permission. Okay. Okay, user permission sets. Under user permission sets, you can okay, so this is permission sets. Okay, let me switch back really quick on this. I have this side by side comparison. Okay, in user security setup in Dynamics GP, you have access list, task, roles, and then that made up your security. Okay, because earlier the roles we have here is the it's called power user. In Business Central, it's called permission sets. Okay, so going back here, our roles has task, and then under task, it has a lot of access lists that made up the role. In Business Central, it has permission sets that is composed of permissions and then objects that made this permission set. Okay, okay. Let me go back. Let me go back to our Business Central. Okay, so this is your permission set, and then there's objects within these permission sets that made up your I wonder how I can show it to you. Don't think I do have a permission to open it. All right. Anyway, I don't have a permission to open it, but again, I'll show it to you. There's permissions and objects. Okay, permissions, objects under permission sets. Okay, this is permission set, and then there's permissions, and then objects. Okay. All right, so let me go back to my presentation. Okay, and then here is the summary. Wow, that was fast. I hope you learned something. Okay, so in summary, we talk about Dynamics GP SQL instance, and that is BC environments. Database is companies in BC. Create new company, same thing in BC. Backup database, data storage is in the cloud, unlike in our SQL is in the local machine or in your SQL server. And then GP user license is BC user license that has essential, premium, and then view only. And then we also look at GP security and then BC security. Okay, so let's continue to connect. And then we got Dynamics User Group. This is our website, dynamicsusergroup.com. You will see Arizona there. And then we are preparing for our Dynamics Call Live 2024 in Denver. So I look forward to see you there. And if you see this webinar and then you see me there, you say, hey, Cecile, I watched your webinar. And then we have November 2024 is our Dynamics Con virtual. Okay. And then, of course, join our DAG Arizona. We have virtual meetups and also in person. Okay. And then thank you so much. This is my website, dincecile.com. You will see my blogs there. And I am excited to share with you everything that I learned about GP to BC. So you will see my blogs in dincecile.com. It's more on GP to BC adventure series. Again, thank you so much. I hope you learned something. Okay. Bye.